What's up, everybody? Talking WWE. Is Cody Rhodes starting to lose face value? I have to ask the question. Is he starting to lose face value? This is the Tony Cotillo Show. Rapid reaction, like we like to do. And tonight we're talking WWE Saturday night's main event. And a lot of stuff happened, went off the air. A lot of different things to talk about that with Kevin Owens and the pile driver walking out with the belt. And is it legit heat between him and Triple H? Of course it's not. Come on, you know what this is? It's a work, but it's a great work, man. I was overly excited about this show leading up to it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was a good show. But I have to ask the question. We're going to get into every single match. I'm going to give you my ideas. I'm going to give you my opinions. But also, I have to ask, man, is Cody Rhodes starting to lose face value? As always, the show powered by the jigsaw pieces and the plus money prop train, powered by Tails and Odd Shopper. Over there, link is in the comments. You can get in the link right here. This is the subscription link, and again, all your bets, plus money props, parlays, you name it. I can't get any better than that than either $20 or $22 a month, man. I'm just telling you, we hit a lot, man. We have some fun. But let's get back to the question at hand. It is Cody Rhodes getting sour with the fans, meaning I have to ask, man. I listen to reactions and I'm watching, and listen, he wins the belt, or was it a huge reaction? Like, I honestly, I do think that legit a lot of the fans wanted KO to win the match. I think they're ready for a change. I really do. I think they're ready for a change. If you're live on Twitter, make sure you're checking in. How did you feel about the show? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I have some value here when I say that Cody Rhodes is starting to lose face value? Is he starting to lose it? Are the fans starting to get tired? Remember, John Cena held the belt for so long. Roman Reigns held the belt for so long. But they always were over. And I'm not saying that Cody's not over, but what I'm saying is eventually the whole baby face persona, Cody's not John Cena. And eventually I was like, you know what? I think eventually this may go the other way. So we're going to see what happens. So I'm curious to ask that question. Also, big things planned for Chelsea Green, and deservingly so. Now, I am 100% a Mia Yim. I am a Mia Yim Meechin guy, 100%. I interviewed Mia Yim, God, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe even 12 years ago. She was great, and I always known it's time for her, right? But during that match, I'm listening. And again, you always have to go with fan reaction. You have to go with what's happening. And listen, you could see that Chelsea Green, whether she's a heel or a face, man, she's over. She's over. And they want Chelsea Green. They want more Chelsea Green. So obviously that was the decision there. And I want to talk about Gunther as the new JBL. I mentioned this to one of my guys on Twitter, and, he mentioned it and, talked about Gunther, just how dominant he is. And I just look at, comparing to what they like to do with characters. Now, I know they like to do all their character creation, and they like to do it as being unique. But I look at them comparing guys to other personalities, and I look at Gunther and saying, this is like JBL to me all over again. My man David checking in, Chelsea Green. David, 100%, man. 100%. Listen, I think they both deserved it. I do. Because I'm a big. Come on, man. Come on. David says Gunther, not Jay. So here's the thing. Hear me out, David. Hear me out with the JBL reference. I'm not saying the person. I'm talking about the way of the development of the character. Okay, this is an old school wrestler, okay, in Gunther, who does things like sleeper holds and choke holds and arm drags. Very, very, very old school type of wrestler, but very dominant. Okay, he's not flashy, doesn't wear a flashy persona, doesn't have that great choreography, just like JBL. It's just like JBL. JBL wasn't the flashy guy. Blue trunks, blue boots, and a cowboy hat, right? Come on, man. And it's a freaking a towel around his neck with a boxing jacket. I mean, what did he symbolize that was so great? It's the same thing as Gunther, right? But I'm just saying that they're trying, in my opinion, they're emulating that whole JBL reign. Gunther is an unbelievable talent. He really is. And they know this. And I know that, he's working behind the scenes, with Paul Heyman and making sure that he is a Paul Heyman guy, so to speak, meaning from his promo skills and his, in-ring development and his storytelling. You could tell, you could understand, he is the ultimate heel. But here's the thing about him. He almost has that Brock Lesnar persona to where fans actually love and hate him at the same time. Unscripted Sports Show. That's my man E. What's up, E? Checking in. What you think of the show, E? What did you think of it? I'm curious. What did, because I hear a lot of people, man. A lot of people talking about the show was weak. Hear a lot of people talking about the show was that great. I don't know what you were watching, because I looked at some really, really good, really, my man checking in. Yo, let's go. Let's check in, man. Yo, you can call in. Okay, I'm gonna give you. He's on Twitter right now. I'm gonna give him the link, my man, because he said he wants to check in. So again, if you would like to call into the show, very, very simple. You just need an audio, meaning by your phone. Okay, you could go and boom, you go to this link right here, and you're in, man. You'll go to the degree room, and I'm gonna send to my boy. Check it in. Let's see. Call in, my man, and let's see what he thinks, man. Let's see what he thinks, because listen, I keep saying this. The matches are getting better and better, in my opinion. They really are. Getting better, in my opinion. Now, Triple H posts a thing. Success is a journey. At Mia Yim, you're well on your way, and I think that's huge. They have. Let's talk about Mia Yim for a second, okay? Mia Yim. I call her Mia Yim because, that's who I always remember her from. She has really, really done a 180, and he's done, she's done what they're asking her to do, okay? And that is become a different type of wrestler. When Mia came, they weren't sure what they want to do with her, right? And I did like the hardcore persona with her in kind of like the hood rat type of stage, and coming out with the kendo stick and stuff like that when she was with the Good Brothers and she was with AJ in the OC, right? I like that, but I don't really think that was her. I think what you're seeing now is they're trying to make her into an actual wrestler instead of a sideshow. And I think that's what Triple H is saying. I think that's what Triple H is saying. This is a journey, right? This is a journey. And I agree. This is a journey. And she is 100% well on her way. My man E says, when will we see Gunther versus Reigns and the Heyman turning on him, making Gunther officially a Heyman guy? Listen, I'm going to tell you, man, that's going to be the interesting thing, because if everybody knows Paul Heyman and they understand Paul Heyman, again, I have to say is make sure you subscribe to the channel, Tony Cotillo Show. If you're watching on a different YouTube channel, I'd greatly appreciate it if you get over and subscribe to the Tony Cotillo Show. If you are on Twitter, check in on Twitter. You can call in on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. On Facebook, if you are on my own personal Facebook page, I am live there specifically because I cannot go live on the other page until I'm because I'm a new account, and I told you I'm trying to build everything from scratch, and I need to wait another 60 days. Okay, but again, flip over to YouTube anyway, because I'm not going to get all the comments from Facebook. Facebook is terrible when it comes to third-party streaming, and they don't always send the comments in. So get over to YouTube, Tony Cotillo Show, boom. Subscribe, get the comments in. You're good to go. Now, getting back to this comment right here, which I think is a really good one. Paul Heyman has always said he's going to continue this in the business, and he's going to continue to develop Paul Heyman guys as long as he sees Paul Heyman guys. And I know for certain that he is working with Gunther. because he sees what we see in Gunther, right? He's working with Damian Priest. I saw a lot of heat against Damian Priest, and I don't know why. Damian Priest, did you watch the match? Damian Priest is really learning how to sell moves more than he ever has. Damian Priest has the size and the athleticism, and he's just and he's continuing to really polish his mic skills. I'm telling you, man, I am a big, big, big a big Damian Priest guy. I always was. I always am. And I think that look, did you see him do kind of like a little pay homage to the Undertaker tonight with standing on the ropes? Listen, Taker works with him as well. When you have Taker working with you and you have Heyman working with you, how can you not come out special, man? How can you not come out special? David says Trish Stratus is the modern day Nadia company as the second perfect 10 and 7-time women's champion. Listen, I will say this: Trish Stratus is 100% is and always will be my GOAT. 100%. I am a big, big, big Trish Stratus guy. Now, hold on, man. We got live and along. I'm going to bring my man in because he was talking about, we were going back and forth about the JBL and Gunther. We're also going back and forth about how I kind of think that the fans are starting to sour on Cody. So I'm going to bring him in. Bring my man in, Christian. Christian, what's up, buddy?
Tony, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you doing? Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, of course, man. I had to jump at this opportunity, man. So we were going back and forth on X, Twitter, whatever you guys want to call it. And man, you hit it on the head when it came to the JBL comparisons, dude. And people, I think, are kind of like souring a little bit on the show, and they're a little negative, man. I mean, it's been since like 2008, I think, since we've had a Saturday night's main event. Now, you brought up a point. That's why I wanted to hop on about the fans souring on Cody a little bit.
Okay.
I think that when it comes to Cody Rhodes, we don't really have an organic heel that can really kind of like you can really pair him with outside of Roman. And I think they've kind of lost their way in the direction. And we know that Kevin Owens wasn't going to beat him tonight. We knew that. But with Roman, you really never knew like if it was going to happen for sure. So hopefully they can revitalize that. Maybe give him Randy Orton somewhere down the road. But for now, I think it's easy for the fans to kind of sort of forget about his championship reign. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's the perfect guy, perfect face. But they got to find somebody to pair with him. You know what I mean?
Listen, I agree, man. Like he is the perfect face, but I mean, as well as I do it, all the years that we've watched this sport, that eventually it's all about what that crowd reaction was. And I'll ask you this. I watched the end of the match and I looked at it and I was talking about it. I kind of think that a lot of the fans want a KO to take the belt. And I didn't feel that great 100% like elation that Cody wanted. I thought it was like 75% closer, when it used to be 100. I don't know. Did you get the same vibe?
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I think that KO would be a good candidate to take the belt, but it's too soon, man. I mean, WrestleMania is right around the corner. And I think that the fans were kind of like, well, we expected this to happen. We knew KO wasn't going to win tonight. And it's just something about they need to find a good pairing with Cody. And I think that there are so many things that are happening so fast right now. And I think with WrestleMania right around the corner, outside of Randy Orton, there's really nobody else that I feel like that can go toe-to-toe with Cody and keep us engaged. I watched the match. As I was going back and forth with you on Twitter, I was like, okay, like I'm looking up and down, like, okay, I know how this is going to end up. Yep. Now, did you see what happened at the end of the match, though?
Yeah, that was interesting.
So you saw that. So that makes KO very menacing. And I think that that's another way to give KO some more heat, because like Gunther, we can hate KO, but we can also love KO as well for the work that he does in the ring. So I think that the fans, we don't really know what to expect out of Cody. I know what to expect out of him, but so many people, I think, are quick to kind of give up and compare his championship reign to Roman's. No pun intended, but it's not the same thing, man. I think that his push is organic. We wanted this. We wanted him to finish the story. but what now? I think it's going
Yeah.
to take The Rock to come back, man. I think that's what we need. We need The Rock something,
Oh,
but I don't want him back with. I don't want him back with like the bloodline. I'm tired of the Cody bloodline storyline. I'm tired of that, man.
yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't know. I mean, The Rock. It almost seems to me that now with this and with this entire storyline that the Rock thing has to be kind of like a novelty match instead
Yeah.
of a belt match. But I got an interesting one for you. What I thought about this during the show, because I was thinking the same way as you. I'm thinking along the lines of who's going to be that next guy. Like you already see what's going on with Seth and Punk, and you see all these things brewing, but it's like Cody's still. I mean, you can't tell me he's going to go on for the next 2 months and battle with KO. But
No.
remember, we're 2025 is supposed to be the John Cena, retirement tour. Like, remember when we saw this with Ric Flair, and they actually gave Ric Flair the belt, and I kind of think that Cena, that would be the perfect to me. Let's go Cena and Cody. And let's build that up and see how the fans react and see whose side they're on. Could you imagine? I really do think that could be like the perfect scenario, man.
Well, but don't you think that would be like Cena? I mean, I think there was a point in time where Cena and Cody kind of sort of crossed paths, and it was kind of like a passing of the torch. So, in that scenario, though, I'd have to ask: does it make sense for Cena or Cody to be the heel? Or would this work in Cody's favor, or would it work against him? Look, the fans hate it. Yeah.
No. I honestly think it could be semi-unique to what we saw. If you remember, the WrestleMania match between Hogan and The Rock, where it was like nobody was really. They were just cheering for both. Everybody was in awe, and I think that this could be like, wow, like this is. All right, this is a feud. The promo skills back and forth. It would be kind of like back in the day with Cena going up against The Rock when those promos were off the chain, man. Like I kind of think, and here's another end of it. It could give because Cody's been doing a ton, and his body's getting beat up, and it could give him an option to kind of give him some time off. While still being in the ring on the mic, but not being in the ring physically either.
I like that. That's an interesting proposition, man.
You never know. I mean, it's wrestling, right? It's like you got to think of these different scenarios of how they're thinking. Because Cena's going to have to do something big. Like he's not just coming back to wrestle. Like he's coming back and he's going to be in a Rumble. I think we all know that he's going to be at WrestleMania. But I think he's going to be, John. As we know, John, he's not coming back to be a sideshow. Like he's only coming back to be all in. So I think they're going to have a big part of him. I really do.
I think you know what? Now that I think about it, one of the biggest mistakes that WWE made was number one, unifying the belts and then creating another World Heavyweight Championship. So we automatically know that Cena's not going to go for the World Championship on Raw for Gunther. I don't think it's going to happen. So it does make sense for him to go for the belt that Cody has, because I think that belt has lineage, man. I mean,
yes,
it has lineage, and I think that it truly has a lot of prestige. And when Roman said that was the second, like that was the number 2 belt, I thought to myself, wow, that stuck with me. And although Gunther's doing a great job, I think, of holding the belt, that does make sense, man. I don't think he's going to go for the United States title. Some said that he might go for the Intercontinental to be the Grand Slam champion. Still doesn't make any sense, man. I don't like that move. I think if Cena's going to go out, he's got to go out with a bang, and he's got to go for the gold, the big gold, man. No, not the literal, but go for the Undisputed Championship.
Yeah, he got to go big or go home, man. With him, it's go big or go home. I'll give you this real fast too. My other theory is that the reason why LA Knight dropped the belt to Shinsuke was because now he's going to get the push. He's going to win the Royal Rumble, and he's going to go on to WrestleMania. He's going to win a belt at WrestleMania.
A belt or which belt?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Meaning a world championship belt. He's going to win a belt at WrestleMania, and I'm just not sure whose belt it's going to be.
Yeah, I think his U.S. title reign was fun. It was nice to see gold around his waist, but I do think that he cut a promo on Friday that I don't know if you've seen it. You probably seen it, but he cut the craziest promo, and he said something about Solo Sikoa that I thought was hilarious. And I tweeted out, I said, this guy is giving me 97, 98 Rock vibes.
Yep.
And he can cut a promo like nobody's business. And I think that for right now, I think he should be the one to go up against Gunther, man. I think that'd be a fun match.
Yes. And he would bury him on the mic too. And I think and that would make for great entertainment, man. It really would.
It would be bad, man. He says some things where I'm just like, because back in the day, man, like I remember being 7 years old, and The Rock was like, when he used to rip DX one by one, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like I don't know who this guy is. He could do the same thing, but if he's your favorite to win the Royal, it has to be him this year. I can't imagine anyone else more deserving of it. I mean, all the other slots are kind of taken.
Yeah.
And real quick before I go, what did you think about? I know we talked about some of the women in the matches. How do you feel about Chelsea Green winning the United States Championship? Like, do you think it should have went to Michin, or do you think it was like a lack of, there were other candidates I thought that they were worthy of it, but it made sense between the two of them. But what did you think?
Yeah, I think they have big things planned for Chelsea Green. I think she's starting to get that reaction from the crowd, even as a heel. And I have a soft spot for Michin, for Mia Yim, because Mia Yim, when I became a wrestling writer many, many years ago, she was one of the first people that agreed to sit down with me and let me interview her twice. And when she was in the indie scene, and I knew then, like, she was driven. And the only thing I can see right now is, I don't know if you saw it, but Triple H tweeted out, the journey. I forget what it said. Something about basically it's a journey, knowing that like your time will come. And I think that they're trying to change her character at the moment, and I think that it's got to give her a little more time. Like, I'm not a big, what do they call her? The feet defeat or something. Like I was like,
something weird.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm like, we got to change that right off the bat. Like that showed me that they're still not sure yet, So, and Chelsea, man, Chelsea's been around. And the good thing about Chelsea is you look at the other end and you go, okay, you got Tiffy time coming. And you know what I mean? Cool. And those two with their egos and their character, man, like, I'll tell you, man, it's going to be live. It's going to be fun. So I think Chelsea deserved it, and I think that she's going to have a long reign. I really do.
I hope so. She was on TNA, right? I believe she was on TNA. I vaguely remember seeing her on TNA. Her and Michin, actually, her and Mia Yim. I vaguely remember seeing them on there. Whenever I would tune in. And it's funny you mentioned Tiffy time. Oof. I think she's ready for her push, man. I think that although I think if she cashes in on Nia, that would make her the face automatically.
Yes.
But I think she could beat her straight up. I think that her athletic ability is by far, she got me really interested in NXT. And after her, it's always, they win the championship. That's kind of how it goes. And they go off and they get drafted. I think she's ready for that push, man. I really believe that.
I do too. And before you go, man, I got one more for you when you talk about the females. Can we please bring Jada Parker up like ASAP, dude? Like, I mean, my Lord, is she like, she's just going to take over. Like, like everything about her, man, is just fire. Like, what HBK is doing in NXT is just not with character development and in-ring ability. Oh my God, man, it's so exciting right now to be a wrestling fan. It really is.
Me and my sister were just talking about her today, actually. Woo. And she needs the same energy and the same amount of investment that Jade Cargill had put into her.
Yes.
The same thing, because she's ready on the mic. She's already ready in the ring. She's a professional in the ring. I still think that Jade Cargill is kind of like she's like that Ferrari without an engine yet. Like, she looks great, but she needs a little more time. Jada, I think, is ready I think she's more ready And I mean, again, hot take, she's more ready on both the mic and in the ring than I think that Sasha Banks was. Sorry, Sid. That Sasha Banks was when she started. I really believe that she has that it factor, and
Yep.
I've said this to my sister too. HBK has done a great job of developing the women. That's why the women's roster, I'd say, in the next decade is going to be so deep with talent. It's
Oof.
going to be insane, man. Like I
I
think even
know.
deeper than the men. And Paul Heyman said that. So
Yes.
I,
I
I think
agree.
Jada Parker's ready, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see her on the main stage, man. I can't. But
Yeah,
listen, I know it's Saturday night. I'm gonna let you roll, but yo, man, I really appreciate you calling in and giving some great fire to the show tonight, man. I appreciate it.
of course, man. Hopefully, if you start talking birds, man, I'll hop on for that too,
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah, listen. It's so I'm telling everybody, I'm planning everything out. It's probably starting January. It's going to be a late night show, so it's either going to be
Okay,
like a 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. show, and it's going to be 3 times a week, and it's going to be
okay,
all topics, all up for grabs. So we definitely be talking some birds for sure. So I have to get you on for that.
okay. Hey, sounds good, Tony. Really appreciate you, man. Huge fan of your work, dude. Keep going.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend and go birds tomorrow, man.
You too. Go birds.
There he is. That's my man Christian checking in, man. Listen, that's the great thing about X. I tell you, you create relationships with really, really good people and great educated minds. And he's right, man. Like this female division is my man E says Mia Yim will win one of the world titles, I believe. She's gonna win something, right? She's going to win something. Her time is coming. It's definitely coming. I'm telling you that right now. Her time is coming. All the women's time are coming. They are, and I'll be honest with you. This may be, like Christian said, hot take. I get more excited for the women matches than I do for the guys right now, and that's no disrespect to the guys roster, but I just think that the development, the talent development, and the character development of the women is just over the top right now. It's so deep. I mean, if you're not a fan of what HBK is doing in NXT right now, you're either not paying attention or you're just a straight hater. You really are, because we could talk about AEW, who has some fantastic talent. They really do. Tony Storm, we could get that controversy another time by her coming back and being relegated to Collision, which is ridiculous. And yeah, you're right. That's what I'm talking about, right? Exactly. You guys all know I'm a Virtuosa fan. Deonna Purrazzo, I love her and her character development. And as a person, Camille, who is a fantastic specimen and performer, finally getting her time, right? And obviously, listen, I'm still going to call her Sasha Banks. I know she's the CEO and Mercedes Monet, but Sasha is always going to be one of my goats forever. Okay, listen, you can think what you want about her, but for me, she definitely is one of the goats. But I just, even with that deep talent pool for the females in AEW, I still don't think it compares to what's going on in WWE, and a lot of it has to do with NXT, right? I mean, even people like Lash Legend, Are you kidding me? Like, do you see the size of Lash Legend and the athleticism of Lash? Right? You have, like, again, when we talk about Jada Parker, no, Roxanne Perez, the what HBK has been able to do to Roxanne Perez and make her into that ultimate heel, right? And then we haven't even talked about the Australian sensation, right? We haven't even talked about any of the New Japan coming in, right, to NXT. We haven't even talked about that. And that's the thing, man. That is the thing. My man, Mr. Women's Wrestling, checking in, says Chelsea Green. Yeah, listen, I don't disagree. I think Mariah May is a very underrated talent right now. Very underrated talent right now that not enough people are talking about. And honestly, I do think it's because of character development in AEW. I do. I mean, some of it is really good, some of it not too much. And you see the difference. I mean, listen, the WWE is head and shoulders above, any other company. And it's not, again, it's no disrespect to those other companies. It's just the people they have behind the scenes. Okay. And anybody can tell you that. And you saw what happened when Chelsea Green came back to WWE and they made her into kind of like a sideshow, right? Like a jobber a little bit. And they were just trying to figure it out. Let's see how the crowd reacts. Let's see what we can do with her. Let's just completely mold her in her character, right? And that's what they did. And look at her now. And look at her now. She's going to have a fantastic run in WWE. And she knows it, right? She knows it. My man, check it. Roxanne Perez versus Anna. There's another one, Anna Jay. Roxanne Perez, man. She is like the more polished AJ Lee. And I know listen, I know it's easy because of the size, right? But I just feel like she's more, she is that AJ Lee kind of persona, but she's just got an extreme amount of wrestling ability. I mean, listen, it's the reason why Booker T was always propping her up, man. 100%. And you're right. I can't forget about Britt. You're right. 100%. I cannot forget about Britt. DMD. You got it. You can't forget about the doctor. Roxanne Perez versus Anna Jay. He says Storm May. That was, man, that storyline, just the whole Tony Storm character. That was probably the best character development I've seen in AEW in a very long time, male or female. It really was. It was an unbelievable swing around and a buy-in from everybody. I really enjoyed that character development with Tony Storm. I always knew Tony Storm could be that person, and she showed it. Now, here you go. Fallon Henley versus Santana Garrett, right? Santana Garrett, a phenomenal talent. Mr. Women's Wrestling, man, he's throwing the matches in. Mr. Women's Wrestling fan, man, I appreciate this, man. I hope you like and subscribe to the channel. We talk everything, not just Philly, on this channel, all sports, all news. This is the Tony Control Show. If you're listening to the Tony Control Show for the first time, again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as we grow this going into January. We're looking at a late night show that will be at least 3 days a week. This show is live at Pike's Pub in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, every Monday night from 6 to 9. And we talk everything. We have guests, we have top, you name it, man. What's your wrestling match of the year? My man says they are all dream matches. Nah, listen, I could see some dream matches there, but if you listen, here's the thing, man. You want to talk about dream matches, right? You tell me right now that we're not going to eventually see Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus at some point at a WrestleMania. Like, that's coming, right? That's coming, right? Chelsea Green versus Britt Baker would be fire. I agree. I agree. 100%. What's your wrestling match of the year? Ooh, man, that's a tough one. Like, up to this point right now, now you're flipping the script here, man. Now you're flipping the script. If you're going to talk about this might be the all-time dream match for me, is Kevin Owens and MJF, right? Like the mic, the promos, the back and forth. Wow. What would be a dream match? Okay, is if he could be back in his prime again, would be John Cena versus MJF. And to see those two go back and forth, right? That would be my idea of an ultimate dream match. I mean, listen, I think, I know how to pick matches. I see that. I do see that. I will say the ultimate dream match for me when we talked about male matches is always going to be a prime HBK versus a prime AJ Styles. That will always be the match that I've always wanted to see. I would never worry about Sting, Taker. I don't care about that. I wish I was able to see AJ Styles against, like I said, HBK in the prime. My man says if EW to AW ever had a show KO over up, it would be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable. Like if they would collab like TNA and WWE, it would be unbelievable. Rollins versus MJF could be a good match. And let me ask you guys something. As we're checking in and we're talking about things, but I do want to talk about what's going on right now. As we move ahead. This is obviously going to be starting WrestleMania season after Royal Rumble. And you have the big Netflix thing, obviously on January 6th, when we know that that's going to be a big deal for WWE, and there's going to be a lot of different things going on. And, who's going to win the Ulafala? Is it going to be, uh, Roman Reigns? Is going to be Solo? At what point do things change? Is The Rock the final boss? Is that going to happen? Is he going to come back? I mean, there's so many different things to think about. AEW, yeah, you're right. They did say, listen, AEW needs some help. Honestly, I think they need some help. I mean, I do. I think that they need some better storytelling, in my opinion. And I'm going to give a prop. I like to give a shout out. I like to give a shout out to certain people when they write really good comments, whether they follow me, they don't follow me, they like me or not. I don't really care. But Tyrone Johnson, 975 Fanatic, he tweeted out earlier about AEW, and he said, I'm going to kind of butcher this, but he basically said in a nutshell that great storytelling needs to happen, even over great matches. And I really, really firmly believe that. And I think that's what gets missed in AEW is the storytelling. I think they are worried about putting on some phenomenal matches, and they do. I mean, listen, the matches that we've seen before with Kenny Omega and Daniel Bryan, and Will Overspray. I mean, MJF. I mean, these have been fantastic matches. Moxley has had unbelievable matches. Even Eddie Kingston has had some fantastic matches. Samoa Joe, I think Samoa Joe's title reign was one of the best. That's not even talked about. Okay, but they are missing Kenny Omega, but they're missing the storytelling. They're so worried about the matches, and I get it. But I think if they could take 20 or 25% away from the matches and get back to some of the really good storytelling, I think that they would bump the ratings. I do. Listen, unfortunately, we live in a world that wants entertainment value. I may not like it. I hate it. I do. I'll be honest with you. I hate it. I could get on here and talk about sports, and news for an hour. And guess what? If I'm not funny, or if I don't make some type of joke or make something entertainment, I may not get all the likes, the follows in the world. But you know what? I don't care. Okay. But I'm also not AEW, and I'm not trying to get TV contracts, and I'm not trying to get these big time sponsorships to pay $1 million wrestlers, right? They need to do that, right? They need to do that. My man, Mr. Women's Wrestling Fan, is on another level right here with these matches. Liv Morgan versus Britt Baker. I think Britt wins that easily. Here you go. The Juggernaut versus Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez is another one that I think that if they work on her character development and her in-ring ability, she could be an absolute stud. I really believe that. It's another woman that needs that push in the right way. Now, here you go. E says, will Shane show up at AEW's World Ends? Listen, for them, it's almost like they need that to happen just for a ratings boost, right? I don't know what Shane's going to do, but they need it for a ratings boost. So I have a feeling that probably will happen, okay? AEW has always been about pro wrestling more than storylines. I agree. They do better with storylines, but I'm more about the wrestling in the ring. I do. Listen, I agree. Listen, I do. I agree. I love a great match. And I'm not going to lie to you, right? I love a great match. But I need the storytelling. Okay. I need the storytelling to get me interested, to make sure you build the match up. And then when you get to the match, it's great. See, the problem with AEW is they want everything to be a great match and they forget about the storytelling part. And I get it. I respect it. I do. I totally respect it. But in order to get people more invested and to get more people that captivate that interest level to a specific point, listen, they're going to need to do a little more in the ring storytelling, behind the scenes storytelling. And I think if they get back to that, I think they can bump those ratings up a little more. I do, because they have some phenomenal wrestlers. It's unfortunate. It's like, if anybody watching this knows who Jason Stark is, I give a story all the time. So if you don't know who Jason Stark is, you're not a big sports fan, right? But Jason Stark, a Hall of Fame MLB writer, for the Athletics, been everywhere, MLB Network, ESPN, you name it. Right, this dude is a walking baseball encyclopedia. He is my undoubtedly 100% favorite writer ever when it comes to Major League Baseball. And when Jason Stark can put out an article, that he wrote that probably took him 3 months or 3 weeks to gather all the information and put it in there, and you can read it and be like, holy shit, man. This is the best article I've ever read. The amount of information in here, the amount of quotes, the amount of statistics, it just blows me away. It's a fantastic article, and he may get 400 people that read the article, and then some other guy writes an article, and he makes jokes in there, and he's got 20,000 fake followers, and he's on there and he's making jokes. He's getting triple the reaction, and it sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. It sucks. It's like, what do we really want? So eventually it's like, what does the audience really want? And I think, unfortunately, the audience doesn't care about the 5-star matches anymore if they're going to be the entire show. They'll care about them if you do lead them up with character development. So that's basically, I totally agree with you. I think 2000 will be different. At least I'm hoping. Listen, I hope so too, because it's only good for everybody. Like, I enjoy it. Like, what? I remember, yes, love Jay. He is the best baseball guy. 100%. Look at this EO versus me. Wow, we're getting, you just keep hammering us with these great matches, man. I appreciate it. I love it. Makes you think a little bit. But, I take it back to Impact and TNA when I think one of their best storylines that they told and they ruined too quickly was the Aces and Eights. I think the Aces and Eights story was fantastic. And I love how they developed that. And it went on and it went on. But then unfortunately, I think once, and again, that's back in the day with Impact, right? I mean, you're talking with Dixie Carter. And, at that time, I think it didn't have a chance to really catch on once it was exposed. I think it did. Yeah, Aces and Eights kicked ass. I loved Aces and Eights. I just think it was like everybody all of a sudden was Aces and Eights. Like it was like, yo, man, you had that great nucleus and you had that great storyline and the development. And I think they just didn't know. They didn't know. My man See It says, I don't like WWE, but I like Tony, so I'm here to say hi. My man See It was on Sirius earlier from 6 to 8, so hopefully you caught him. Make sure you give him a follow, my man, at See It John, who is the man. Best hair in the game, obviously, but always doing fantastic things when you talk about sports betting, fantasy sports in general. Has a fantastic mind, does these fantastic motivational spaces on Twitter as well. Make sure you give him a follow, man. He's a very uplifting voice in the space, in the social, in the digital media space, that if you get to know him, you will feel very honored to understand how great of a person he is. So say a shout out to you as always for checking in. I appreciate it. And yeah, listen, they were great. Real quick, Eagles -5.5. I know he's like, yo, what are we doing? Go Birds. Listen, man, I'm going to be honest. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how I feel right now. I do think if they win, it's going to be by they're not going to cover, man. I don't think they're covering the spread. I don't think they're covering 5.5. I don't. I think it's going to be a tough game for them. I do. I think it's going to be a tough game for them, but I do think they will win. Whoa, here. See, I want to ask you about Becky Lynch, man. Let's continue down this female path for a minute because I think it has a lot of juice. We've already talked about getting this live. This is the Tony Cotillo show. This is the rapid reaction. This is where we react to big storylines, big sporting events, whatever they are. Tonight, obviously, was WWE Saturday night's main event, which I think they did a fantastic job. They put on a great remake 80s production. They even had the turnbuckles and the ropes, the entrance, they had the theme song. They brought back Jesse the Body, who I thought did a fantastic job. I think the entire production was fantastic. It really was. They really did. For people hating, they just like to hate. I'm going to tell you that right now because they did a fantastic rendition of Saturday Night Main Event. And I thought they were some great matches. I do. I think the triple threat match was very, very good, entertaining. How strong is Gunther to be able to pick up Damian Priest, drop him, basically pick him up again, and slam him into the steel steps? And then Finn Balor, who I think really gets overlooked in this whole thing, has been played a remarkable role in trying to rebuild Judgment Day after the whole Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, it's with Dominic, with Liv, and there's so many different things. So I think he's done a really remarkable job. And I think that championship's in his future again. And he's just too good not to be. Again, I know he's tag champion, but a singles champion. So I did like that. The KO match, I think, was entertaining. There were some really good spots in that match. And then obviously at the end with more heat on KO by Paul driving Cody and taking the wing belt. And then you get some heat with Triple H. Triple H has to get involved, right? He has to. It's his role. He's going to have to. But I think this is where you're going to see. I think one of the defining secrets in this whole thing is that Nick Aldis has a contract that's not just a management type contract. Like, he does have a wrestling contract. I think you're going to see Nick Aldis in the ring at one time. And I think, this is the start of that, right? This is the start of that, being able to, what Adam Pearce probably isn't going to get in the ring, but Nick Aldis, I think, will get in the ring. I do. I think he will get in the ring at one time. And obviously, Triple H can't get in the ring. So it could be one of these things where you get some heat with KO or a specific wrestler. We've seen this all before. And Triple H says, listen, I can't wrestle anymore, but I have somebody that's going to do the work for me and take my spot. It's going to be, and again, it could be a guy like Nick Aldis. And that's just pure speculation. Okay. Then we got to the women's division, right? We talk about, the match with Liv Morgan and Io Sky. And I think it was a decent match. I think Io Sky has a ton of ability, but for some reason, I just think that Io doesn't get the crowd reaction as much as she tries. They haven't been able to connect with her that much yet. So when you look at the other match between Michin and Chelsea Green, same thing, man. Michin, it will have her time. I'm a big Mia Yim guy, but I think it was Chelsea's time based on crowd reaction, character development, and where it's going to lead. And then Mr. Women's Wrestling brings up Becky Lynch and Jamie Hayter. And listen, we're on the verge of a return from Charlotte Flair. And we keep hearing about it's going to be a new Charlotte. It's going to be a different type of Charlotte, we keep hearing, right? What is that Charlotte character going to be? Something they say that, she's never been before. So I'm curious. Does that mean she's going to go kind of like the whole Becky Lynch, the man kind of persona? Is she going to come back, with a different, like, heel kind of hardcore, rough and rugged, like scrappy person? Like, I don't know. Like, how is she coming back? So shake my head. Charlotte Boone, not if I love Charlotte, by the way. I love Charlotte. And you say, I hate to bring this up, but thoughts on him be listen, you can bring up, we can always pivot, which is not a big deal. I am probably going to do some pre-record stuff based on the Phillies and the Sixers, and I'm going to get up soon. But I agree. Like again, I feel extremely sorry for Joel Embiid. I do. I'm not. I'll blame him. I said this, and I'll say this again, that there's a lot of people out there saying he's soft. But I will ask you this: what player gets hurt in that area the way he did by being soft? He didn't get hurt by being soft. He got hurt because he was playing hard and fighting for a rebound, and is unfortunately got hit in the face. Right. So he did not. He did the exact opposite of what he's getting heat for, and he got hurt. So it just shows you that people just want to hate. Right. At the end of the day, they just want to hate, and I get it. They're mad he's not playing, but we shall see. We shall see. But I'm curious again, with Charlotte and Becky. Does Becky come back? What are we doing? And I spoke about this before, and we'll go about another 9 minutes. We'll go that the full hour. I talked about, is Cody Rhodes getting sour with the fans? Meaning, I feel like his reaction has dwindled. I think, right now, here's the other key part. Okay. We're going into obviously a stated NC-17 kind of level for WWE on Netflix. We're going away from the PG era. It's very well documented. So back in the day when you had John Cena, who had to buy into the kids, and obviously he was that guy that sold to that audience. I don't think you're worried about that audience as much right now. So that being the case, if you notice, as the audience gets a little more, I should say, mature, is that a good way of saying it? As the audience gets a little more mature, now all of a sudden they're like, you know what? He's for the kids. We want somebody a little more rugged. We want something a little more hardcore. And I think that's what you're seeing. And I think that's why they wanted KO to win tonight, even though we knew that wasn't going to happen. But I do think that we definitely are seeing the crowd react in a kind of low-key negative way in Cody Rhodes. My man E says, I'm looking for, oh yeah, listen, I can tell you this, I am not concerned. I'm not concerned at all. I will tell you why when I pre-record. I will tell you why I'm not concerned. I still think moves are ahead. Not concerned. Not concerned at all. I think there's some underlying things going on that are going to continue to evolve, and I think that we'll all be like, okay, I can dig this. I can dig it. So definitely when we talk about the Phillies, but keep that in mind before we get out of here. Keep that in mind about Cody Rhodes. Keep that in mind that the audience is changing. Keep that in mind that they may want more of a bad boy, right? Keep that in mind. And I said this, and I'll say it again. You heard me talk to Christian, talk about it earlier when I mentioned about LA Knight. I want to leave you with this thought. So, two thoughts. Okay, is Cody Rhodes souring to the fans? Like, is he starting to sour to the fans based on the ratings change, based on the show development, and based on the characters right now? And also, I feel as though LA Knight is the next Stone Cold. Now, I did a quick little hit on the YouTube page, so make sure if you're following the YouTube page, Tony Cotillo Show, make sure you like and subscribe and you check it out. But I looked at LA Knight and I said to myself, going into this next era of the Netflix era, they need somebody to combat against management. They need somebody that's going to be the bad boy. They need somebody that's going to be that Stone Cold Steve Austin. And who better than LA Knight, who's already over? So I do feel, though, going forward, you have that whole LA Knight / Stone Cold persona. I know, yeah, listen, I get it. See it 2.0. But the problem is, we're not kissing babies and getting pictures with kids anymore as much as we used to. If you scroll that audience, you're getting back to, you're never going to get back to the bra and panty matches, okay? But you are getting back to that that kind of WCW, ECW vibe. You'll never be completely hardcore, but you are getting to that Attitude Audience era a little bit. And that Attitude Audience era didn't care about Doink the Clown. Okay. They didn't care about John Cena, hustle, loyalty, and respect. They cared about John Cena thugonomics. They wanted to hear who John Cena was going to rip down week in and week out, right? Like that's what they want to tune in for. So that's what I'm saying. So think about that. Think about how the audience in WWE going over to Netflix is going to dictate their character development and also, in my opinion, their storylines going ahead. Exactly. Cody is going to eventually need to turn heel. I agree. 100%. 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on those ratings. When you keep an eye, listen, the WWE has a big rating system. It was a big deal for them to say, we're going to change over from a PG to an NC 14 or TV 14 or NC 17. Again, something like that. Again, my man Albert checking in says, love the show. Eagles need to bring back the 1981 Super Bowl home jerseys, man. I love it. I love it, Albert. Listen, Albert, I hope you're following those parlays. I hope you're following those plus money bets, brother. I hope you're on board because we've been killing it on the plus money bets, man. The plus money prop train is on fire. Again, it is the best $20 a month you will ever spend. I'm telling you that right now. You will not get a better ROI than the plus money prop train that I have on OddsShopper Tails. I'm just telling you. Okay, plus money props are not easy to hit, and when you're hitting 3 to 5 a week, and you're talking about a $20 a month subscription, you're getting that money. You're literally getting a month every week. You're actually getting a month every 3 days. Like you're essentially buying 1 month and making enough money to pay for the entire year in a week. It's insane. Just throwing it out there, man. Just throwing it out there. And Albert, my man, always checking in. Much appreciated. I love people like yourself. You know that. Unscripted sports show. That's my man E says American Nightmare equals heel. You're right. I'm telling you, you're right. It's coming, man. It is definitely coming. Are you doing a show at the game tomorrow or on Monday? Yeah. So, the Monday night show will be live from Pike's Pub. So I will be at Pike's Pub from 6 to 9 on Monday. The 3-hour remote show will be live. We'll be talking Monday Night Football. Obviously, all the action for the games. We'll be talking Phillies. I have my man Jimmy Mack giving a Philly segment. I'm going to see if I get, again, my man Michael KB on to talk about, give him some Sixers takes, to talk about that as well. And again, I'm going to be talking some birds, obviously, as well, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. And hopefully we're talking about a win, 100%. But listen, I am going to cut this out. We're 50. I want to go an hour, so we have 58 minutes. So we're live and we're ready to get out of here. Again, as always, make sure that you like and subscribe to the show. Listen, a lot of big things coming up, man. A lot of big things coming up. Yes, I think they play. Like Monday is going to be a packed show at Pike's Pub. So if you are around and you live close to Pike's Pub, which is in Southampton, PA, in Bucks County, PA, come on by, have a drink, have some really good food. They have the best $9 bacon cheeseburger with fries around. I'm going to tell you that right now. The good old steak fries. Lots of crispers with some good old salt and probably like a pound of bacon on that burger too, man. It's fantastic. So make sure you get locked in. If not, join remote. As always, phone lines will be open. And again, you can always call into the show, just like my man Christian did earlier. It's simple. You get a link, you pick up your phone, you hit click, boom, you're on the air, man. So I'm trying to change the narrative when it comes to call in and wait lines and all that kind of stuff. So trying to change that, and we got some big things planned, obviously, for January. So as always, man, listen, WWE, another great show, another great rapid reaction right here on the Tony Cotillo Show. Everybody for checking in, much appreciated. As always, tomorrow Sunday, make sure you lock in tomorrow morning for the bets. I'm probably going to do a prop show in the morning, like I used to do. I'm going to do it again this time, but it will be on the Tony Cotillo Show on this channel right here. Make sure you get over here and subscribe to the picks. This is just to me, man. You're only subscribing to me right there, just to me. I am your own personal navigator. I actually have my own Discord as well now. We have about 18 people in there. I have more people coming in, dropping some really good knowledge and some bets. And I'm dropping my bets in there every single day. So you're probably getting about 7 to 10 bets every day, about 2 to 3 plus money props, and usually 2 to 3 parlays as well. And when the numbers are there, the underdog picks will be there as well. So make sure you get over there and check that out as always. So everybody, man, it's Saturday. It just struck midnight. It's actually Sunday morning now. Everybody, again, always have a fantastic. I'll hit you up. So you get the Discord. So basically, the Discord is called the Jigsaw Society, and you get that once you subscribe to the Odd Shopper page, so which is my picks page. So Albert, if you are subscribed, let me know. You should automatically be included into Discord. So I will give you a link. So once you subscribe to the picks on Odd Shopper, you will automatically be answered into the Discord. So, and what happened, it's a really great system where I just upload the picks. And yeah, I will definitely. I'll send you a message. Send you a message. And again, it's very, 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 very cost efficient. So if you guys have it and you can't get in Discord, let me know. If I'll message both you guys. I got your numbers and your DMs, so I'll let you know so we can figure out how to get you in there. But as always, man, everybody just listen. Have a great night. Continue to go down the world of positivity. Not to try to sound like the New Day here, but I just got a lot of things planned. And before I go to, not everybody's on Facebook, and I have a big audience, on Facebook with close people. But once the Tony Cotillo Show is consistent on 3 nights a week, it's going to be a late night show, probably about 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. At least once a month. I do want to profile, because this is not, again, this show is not just Philly and it's not just sports. Okay. The Tony Cotillo Show is going to be so many different things. Okay. Honestly, it's going to be a lot of different things. And one thing I do want to do is I want to highlight nonprofit organizations that do some fantastic work in communities. So I don't think they get enough notoriety. And the reason why is because nonprofits, they don't want the notoriety for themselves. They're out there helping people. And I really want to shine a light on these fantastic people and organizations. So if you're listening to this, if you have a nonprofit that you use, if you have a nonprofit that you run, if you have a nonprofit that you've seen that you think is fantastic, drop them in the comments for me. I am creating a contact list, and I want to get a bunch of messages out to the leaders of these nonprofits, and I want to get them on an exclusive show with me to explain what their mission is about and try to get as many people involved and to donate into their mission as well to help them along. Because like I said, man, there are some people that are doing some fantastic work out there. They're doing God's work for real. They're doing God's work. So I want to make sure that they 100% get the notoriety and the credit that they deserve, and also the help that they need. So, and I'm working on something too in 2025 with the sports betting stuff, to where all the winnings, we're going to do some bets, and I want to donate 25 to 50% of the winnings to a specific charity, of my choice. So there's a lot of good things to give back as well right here on the Tony Cotillo Show that we're trying to start to build. So make sure you're live and subscribe, or you like and subscribe to the channel, Tony Cotillo Show. Like I said, I'm building this organically, brand new. So I appreciate everybody's help and support. So we'll be back here tomorrow. We're going to go over some early morning props and DFS talk. And then we'll also be probably live tomorrow night, not after the Eagles game, but late tomorrow night, recapping NFL and the Eagles game and getting ready for the Pikes Pub remote on Monday. So everybody have a fantastic night. As always, stay safe and stay healthy. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch